How's it going, guys? I'm Julian Bradley from jazzherobooks.com. Got another jazz piano lesson. Today we're going to take a look at stride piano, which is a really useful technique when you're playing solo piano because it allows you to play the bass line, the chord voicing and the melody. So we're going to jump straight in, enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you again after the lesson. So basically, stride piano is a technique for a solo piano player to play the bass line, the chord, and the melody at the same time. So say we had a C major chord sustained for one measure, we'd play the root on the first beat, and then I'd hold that note down with the pedal, come up, and then I'd play a C major 7 voicing on beat 2. Then I'd go down for beat 3, and I'd play the 5th, then I'd come up for beat 4 and play the voicing again. So now let's apply this stride piano technique to a 2-5-1 in C major. The 2 chord will be a D minor 7, the 5 chord will be a G dominant 7, and the 1 chord will be a C major 7. So here's what I would do. Hold down the D for the D minor 7, clear the pedal and play a D minor 7 chord, clear the pedal and play the G, the root note, the bass note of the 5 chord, come up and play a G dominant 7, and then end with a C, play the C major 7, and then because the root chord's usually sustained for a whole measure, I'll go down and play the 5th. Now let's talk about the chord voicings that we're coming up to, because so far I've just been playing the basic chord voicings that are stated in the chord sheet. I've also been playing the root again. Now this is probably how stride piano started out. This was common in early recordings to just play the literal chord symbol that's stated in the chord sheet. But for a more interesting sound, first of all, we can start by inverting the chords when we need to. So inversion means taking the same group of notes but rearranging them. So I could put the C and the E up an octave, or I could play them in this inversion, or I could play them in this inversion. So there are 3 inversions. There's root position, but then there's first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. So what determines whether you play a chord in root position or as an inversion is basically you want to create smooth voice leading. So although you're jumping about between the bass note and the chord voicing, you still want to treat the chord voicing as you would normally if you weren't doing stride piano. And really you want your chords to resolve in the same area. You don't want to be jumping around with the chords. So for example, the 2-5-1 I just showed you was jumping all around because I didn't use an inversion. It's jumping all around. So to avoid that, I can play the G7, the 5 chord, in an inversion. I'm playing it in second inversion, which means I don't have to move that chord around too much because it's disruptive to the listener when the chord's jumping all around. So using inversions when you need to is a good thing. So the stride piano I was showing you is pretty technically difficult to play. You've got to really jump around and you've got to be accurate. So if you do find this technically too difficult, here's an easy solution that creates more or less the same effect, but is much easier to play technically. Basically, instead of jumping an octave each time, you can just break the chord voicing up here. So here's my voicing C major 7. I'll just play down the root, and then on the second beat of the bar I'll play the rest of the voicing, and then I'll do some jumps as well. So that's quite a good compromise. You can do some jumps but also have moments where you can focus on the right hand, and you don't have to have all your brain focus on the left hand. So now let's talk about some more advanced voicings you can play. As you're already playing the root note of the chord, you don't really need to waste that finger saying the root note again. It's already been said. So why not start building your chords off the third instead? So here's the C major, hold down the root, just play at E minor 7. That would be a nice ninth voicing. It will give you this extra colour. If it was a C minor 7, play at E flat major 7. That's a good rootless voicing for C minor 9. Let's just play at E flat major 7. And then if you're playing a dominant 7, you could either follow the same pattern and play this kind of E half diminished chord, or you could do what I actually do on the dominant 7s. I usually play this voicing. And all of these three voicings, which cover major, minor and dominant, you can also invert these. So I take this voicing and I move these two notes up an octave. Same notes, it's just a different inversion. That's a nice voicing. That goes for the minor 7 chord as well, which would become this, that E flat major 7 chord that's now in second inversion. And the same would go for that dominant 7 voicing, which would become this. And you can use these voicings as left-hand voicings in any style of jazz. It doesn't have to be stride piano. I use these a lot. So here's how a 2-5-1 progression might sound if I was playing stride piano with some more complex voicings. I'd go up to this rootless voicing of D minor 9, and I play that nice voicing for dominant 7. This is G dominant 7. Then I'd resolve to C major 7 with a 9. So one of the pieces in my ebook features stride piano and would be a nice example of this technique, because it doesn't always have to be this really rhythmic, upbeat thing. It can be a slower pace, and I used it in a waltz of mine which was called Dancing With You, which was a piece I wrote for my wife, and it used the stride piano accompaniment so that it allowed me to play the bass line and these nice sophisticated left-hand voicings as well as playing the melody at the same time. So if you're still watching, well done. I know that was a lot of information. If you found this video useful, I'd really appreciate if you just click the thumbs up button in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And if this is the first video of mine you've seen, make sure you don't miss out on future videos by subscribing to my channel. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. Julian Bradley here with an important announcement. Are you tired of playing overly simplified jazz piano arrangements like this one? Do you want to play what the professional jazz musicians actually play? Well, now you can with my Jazz Hero Complete Collector's Edition, which presents 8 of my most special piano compositions, from emotional lounge piano ballads to upbeat Latin pieces from Brazil and Cuba. The Complete Collector's Edition contains over 30 pages of detailed manuscript listing everything I play when I perform live, it comes with an entire album's worth of accompanying audio, including my own recorded performances of each piece, and bring your playing to life with my accompanying MP3 audio tracks. Now you can perform with a live rhythm section and master improvisation the smart way. And dive even deeper with my exclusive Collector's Edition bonus materials, which include 3 transcribed solos of my own, remember, your purchase supports my teaching materials and makes future video making possible. So don't miss out on my limited time introductory offer. Visit jazzherobooks.com or simply click on the link in the description box below this video. It's time to take your jazz piano playing to a whole new level with my Jazz Hero Complete Collector's Edition.